Hello, my name is Keshwani. That's Keshwani, Keshwani. We are here because we want to prepare for GRE. We have been solving GRE math problems out of this book here, the official guide to the revised GRE, the second edition. If you do not own this book already, purchase one immediately. You're going to need it. The problem that we are about to solve is very similar to the one that you see on page number 226. Please turn to page number 226, and today is our lesson number 315. On page number 226, it is given as a multiple choice questions. Here, what we are looking at is a quantitative comparison question, a question that appeared in its original form, in a little bit different form originally, in this book here, the old GRE, the 10th edition. This book contains 7 exams. Each exam has 30 quantitative comparison questions. If you're interested in getting more practice on the quantitative comparison questions, you will find solution to 210 quantitative comparison questions at my channel. Just look for the playlist which says quantitative comparison 10th edition. Quantitative comparison 10th edition on my channel. You will find there, as I said, solution to all 210 of these quantitative comparison questions. This one appeared, this particular question appeared on page number 207 as question number 11. Let's do it together. Here's how the question reads. It says, we are to compare the sum of the roots of this equation, versus 0. Let's see what we can do. What does roots mean? Roots of the equations are the values of the x that will satisfy this equation. We have to find those two values of the x. There are two values, there are two roots of this equation because it's a quadratic equation. What we're looking for here is we are looking for two numbers such that their product equals, so this is positive 1. Their product equals positive 1 times a negative 380. Positive 1 times a negative 380. So positive 1 times negative 380 is just negative 380. So their product has to be negative 380, and their sum has to equal the coefficient of this guy. Coefficient of x is 1. Their sum has to equal positive 1. Now that is very tricky for some people. For people, if you happen to be one of those if you happen to be one of those people who haven't had much practice in what is known as factorization method, you might find this a little bit challenging. It's just a matter of practice. We have to find two numbers. You have to put your thinking cap on and ask yourself, how can I break up this 380 into two parts such that when I add up the two numbers, they add up to just positive 1, but their product has to be negative 380. The thing to do here is this. Take your 380. Don't worry about the negative sign right now. Just take your 380, and instead of trying to break 380 into several parts, which will take forever and ever, start out with something simple. We know 380 has to equal 38 times 10. Let's leave this 10 in abeyance. Let's leave this 10 in abeyance. We'll deal with it later. Let's put it aside. Let's keep it in abeyance. When did we learn about abeyance? Did we learn about abeyance? I am almost 90% sure that we did. Abeyance. I'm looking at the vocabulary list. Oh, day number 9. If you're interested in improving your vocabulary, you can just type in GRE vocabulary words, day 9. Just type in GRE vocabulary words, day 9, and you will learn this word abeyance, which simply means, which is just a very fancy way of saying, let's keep it aside. Let's put it aside, we'll deal with it later. For the time being, let's concentrate on 38. We're going to ask ourselves, how can we break up 38? Well, 38, the factors of 38, we have to start with the prime factors, obviously. How many twos in a 3? 3 has 1 2. The remaining one goes and joins the 8, becomes 18. And how many 2's in an 18? 18 has 9 2's. That's it, we are done. 19 is a prime number, we are done. In other words, 38 can be broken up into 2 times 19. And this is a 10. Voila! we found the two numbers which are going to add up to 1. The two numbers are, and now I should not have done all of this work here, because I need the room now. I need to erase it. The two numbers are going to be, they have to add up to 1. I need the room, so I really have to erase it. So remember, it is 19. One number is going to be 19, and the other number is going to be 2 times 10. 2 times 10 is 20. The two numbers are, well, there are two possibilities, either positive 20 and a negative 19, or negative 20 and a positive 19. In this case, if this were the case, positive 20 and a negative 19 is going to add up to positive 1, and a negative 20 and a positive 19 would add up to negative 1. Which one do we need here? Do we need the first scenario or second scenario? Well, that will depend on the coefficient of this middle guy. The coefficient of this middle guy is positive 1. We need the top scenario, right here. Positive 20 and a negative 19. In other words, we're going to write this x as 20x minus 19x. We're going to write this x as 20x minus 19x, 20x minus 19x equals x. You see? Again, I need the room, so we need to erase it. So this, of course, this we already know it's 1 in front of it here. So this is x squared, and this x is going to be written as positive 20x and a negative 19x. You see, this part, positive 20x and a negative 19x gives us our x. Now we're going to look at these two terms, ask ourselves, what's the common factor between x squared and 20x? The common factor between x squared and 20x is just x. If we take out x common, we are left with x from the first term, because x times x gives us our x squared. From the second terms, we are left with 20, because 20 times x is going to give us 20x. What is the common factor in these two terms? 380 and a 19. Well, we already know now that 380 equals 19 times 20. We just found out 19 times 20. So we take out 19 common. And if we do that, we're left with x in this part, because negative 19 times x is going to give us negative 19. And here, since we need a negative here, so this negative times positive 20 is going to give us the 380. Negative 19 times positive 20. Negative 19 times positive 20 is going to give us negative 380. Now we ask ourselves, what is common between these two terms here? The common factor between these two terms is the part that you see in the parentheses, which is this part, x plus 20. We take out x plus 20. Once we take out x plus 20, what is left in the first term? What is left in the first term is x. Again, you see this quantity times x is going to give us x times x plus 20 right here. And here, what we're left with here is a negative 19, not positive. Negative 19. And that equals 0. Again, this quantity, x plus 20 times negative 19 is going to that. So now we have two quantities, x plus 20 and x minus 19. We have these two quantities, and we are told that their product is equal to 0. How can the product of two quantities be equal to 0? Well, either if you have two quantities a and b, and if you are told that a times b equals 0, how is that possible? Well, either a is equal to 0 or b would have to be equal to 0. One of those two quantities will have to be 0, or perhaps they are both zeros. So here, either x plus 20 is equal to 0 or x minus 19 is equal to 0. It's very important that we put down the word or. If you put down the word and, I remember years and years ago, many moons ago, when I was a young boy in school, if you did the entire solution, everything was perfect, everything was fine, you did the entire solution just the way I'm presenting to you, but instead of the word or, if we put down the word and here, our teacher would mark everything wrong, and we're going to get 0 out of 0 points for it. It is not and, it is or. Either this has to be true or that has to be true. If this were true, in which case, yeah, this implies that x is equal to negative 20. Now, if this is the case, this implies that x is equal to positive 19. That's it, we are almost done. So the roots are -20 and +19. We are looking for their sum. The sum of the roots is going to be this. So instead of saying the roots are, I should have said the sum of the roots. The sum of the roots is right here, -20 and a +19. We are almost done. What does -20 and a +19? What do -20 and +19 add up to? -20 and a +19 is going to add up to -1. There you go. That's your sum of the roots. We were to compare the sum of the roots of this equation. We just found out the sum of the roots of this equation is -1. We were to compare the sum of the roots of this equation versus 0. We just found out that this quantity equals -1. This quantity equals -1. So we have -1 versus column B, which is a big fat 0. So which quantity is bigger, -1 or 0? The answer is 0 is bigger, of course. The answer to this problem is B. If something like this appears in your exam, that is actually a very good sign, because this wasn't an easy question. This is going to appear in the hard territory. This is not an easy question. This wasn't a medium question. This question will appear as a hard question. This question of this nature, question of this caliber, is only going to appear for those people who are going to get a score in the 700s. If your score is going to be in the 500 range or 600 range or anything lower than that, you're not going to see something like this in your exam. Because these days the exam is computer adaptive. It adapts to your ability. So only the people who are going to score in the 700s are going to encounter something like this. I'll see you tomorrow, okay? Bye now.